Hey guys, Dr. Norris here, and today I want to talk to you about foam rolling and why this is a great tool to use and how it can help benefit you at home and have you have to come into the office less often. Okay, so a couple different types of foam rollers or myofascial devices, so I'm going to just review those with you real quick and tell you why you might want one or the other. This is this little rolly stick, nice kind of travel tool to have. I used to carry one of these with me when I was playing rugby, and you can roll out your hamstrings or your quads really easy, but it's hard to like say get to the back. You can't do much there. So potentially helpful tool, but maybe not the tool that's going to help the most. Okay. Second would be one of these blue foam rollers, right? The problem with blue and white, it's too soft, okay? So if you're even just a regular size person, it's probably too soft, but especially if you're closer to my size, this is just gonna fold under you. You're not gonna get the pressure on the spine and the muscles the way you want to, okay? So I'm gonna show you how to use these foam rollers, but first, this is why you want maybe one or the other. Here's a kind of fancier foam roller. It's a little bit smaller in diameter here. And you can see it also has these knobs on it. And so these knobs are helpful at kind of like, getting deeper into the myofascial tissue. Can be great for working out knots or different areas, but honestly, most people don't need that. Maybe if you're really, really tight in certain areas or you're constantly working out, this can be beneficial, but again, not necessary. You don't need the fancy bumps essentially, okay? Now, the one that I always recommend is the tried and true black foam roller, okay? So this thing, you can probably find this on Amazon for 15, 20 bucks. We sell them in the office as well for convenience. And this black foam roller, you can get it in different lengths. Sometimes they're shorter. I like a long one just because then you can use it any way that you want to, okay? You're not really limited by the size of it. So next, let me show you how you can use this on a couple different body parts and really get some great results. So I'm always amazed, people say, or I'll ask them, have you ever foam rolled? And, I kind of get a mixed answer, like, yeah, kind of, but then turns out they might not know how to best use it, or they've just sort of tried it once or twice, or they just haven't used it at all. Okay, so this shouldn't be too scary. It's very safe to use. And now I'm gonna show you how to use it in a couple different areas. Okay, so the first spot, what we're gonna do is we're gonna just roll out the spine, and really specifically the thoracic spine and the rib cage. You can't really get very effective in the low back, and you definitely don't want to go up in the neck. You're not going to get a lot of results there, and could hurt yourself. But on the ribs, because the ribs are there, you have a consistent pressure across the back. And so if you've been sitting all day, if you have some postural issues or a little knot under your shoulder blade or in your mid back, this is a great way to try to work that out yourself. What you're going to do is you kind of lean back onto it slowly. It's right on my bottom ribs right now. I'll even reposition myself, make sure I'm just in the right spot. Next, I'm gonna cross my arms and keep my chin slightly tucked, okay? So I'm not just like letting my head just flop around, it's actively holding here. And then you're gonna lift your hips up, okay? Now to move my body on the foam roller, what I'm gonna do is essentially open and close my knees, and you can get it all the way up to the top of the shoulders here, almost like base of the neck. Like I said, it doesn't really help to go up into the neck, and then all the way down the bottom ribs, okay? So I'm going back and forth, kind of like steamrolling my mid back, and it feels really nice. You can also kind of roll a little bit to one side if you need to get more particular on the left or the right. So that's a great exercise to do for the mid spine. Another area to work on is lat muscles, right? So you have your latissimus dorsi back here is that big muscle under your armpit. And a lot of people, it's really tight, especially if you're working out, if you're doing pull-ups or pulls, and that's what I'm always telling people to go do in the gym. So let's say you're feeling a little tightness here. Maybe you don't even know that you have tightness there. But what I want you to do is you'll lie sideways on the foam roller, and then you're gonna get it kind of almost like just below the shoulder blade and armpit. There's like a little sensitive spot there. And once you get on that spot, you'll know. And again, it's not the bone, but it's right between your shoulder blades and your ribs is where this muscle is twisting and attaching to the bottom of your scapula. And so what I'm doing is I'm just rocking back and forth, and this is working on, or almost like, massaging the myofascial tissue, right? So the fascia and the muscle combined. And that's really what we're trying to do, is get that to relax and release a little bit, get a little more blood flow in there, and not be so chronically tight. If it's too tight, it's gonna start to alter your posture and really cause a lot of problems. Of course, you're gonna switch sides, do the other side as well. All right, and then next is the glutes. So what I'm doing is I'm sitting right on this foam roller here, and I'm gonna do one side at a time, okay? So what I'll do is I'll kind of keep this knee bent. I got this knee straight, and I'm gonna roll from my hip right here up to my pelvis up here. And I'm gonna kind of get into that soft spot and let it sink in. And again, you're gonna find areas that are more tender or have little trigger points. That's actually what you wanna focus on. That's probably why a lot of people avoid foam rolling, because there's a little bit of discomfort involved. But like a deep tissue massage, you're gonna feel a lot better after. And so what I'm doing is I'm rolling my body over slightly now. I'm still onto this hip muscle here. Really some of the hip flexors there, your TFL, your top of your IT band. And then I'm gonna kind of come back and get onto that glute. So I'm not really on my sacrum or my tailbone, I'm right next to it. And then you can even bend your knee up, so almost doing like a figure four. Sometimes that can expose some areas that are a little tender. And ideally what you wanna do is when you get a tender spot is just keep rolling over it until it's not tender. You can also just sit on it, like find a spot and kind of just gyrate or vibrate a little bit on this thing. And that's like really gonna help a lot to essentially release that tissue, okay? So this is something I do when I go to the gym. I don't spend a lot of time doing it, but maybe 5 minutes, just a good way to warm up, keeps your muscles loose, brings blood flow to the muscles, and you don't overstretch them, because if you do a lot of long stretching holds before working out, that'll actually make you weaker, okay? So this is great to do before a workout, or even at the end of the day if you're feeling kind of tight and tired from work, or maybe your exercise earlier in the day, okay? And so this is the 3 areas that I consistently work on the most. It's my glutes, my lats, and my thoracic spine, okay? So that's what I'm gonna tell you to work on as well. And if you have other areas, like maybe your calf muscles, or if you're getting like shin splints, if you roll that soft part of your shin up here on the outside of your leg, that can feel really good. You just kind of get up on the roller, kneel on it, and then I'm moving it around like this, kind of bring my legs back and forth. That's a great way to use the foam roller, okay? So hopefully you're already incorporating this into your routine, but if there's any doubts in your mind, if you should be using a foam roller, definitely consult with your body worker, your therapist, your doctor. And of course, if you're doing foam rolling and you're still having some problems with your spine or hips or body, give us a call, because we'd love to help you out.